Hello and welcome to Be Here Now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. Today's topic, hey universe, what the F? We are live on the new streaming network.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast. Your number one internet singles talk network.
That's right. Yay!
Your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much watching this show and hoping you're getting something out of it and helping make your life better. Judy and I do this every week. We just want to share some stories and experiences and tools and hope that we can all live a more peaceful, happy, settled life and to be here now.
Yes.
we feel like I should have my hands clapping then. We are a nonprofit organization. So if you, besides just watching us and liking us and subscribing, you can also go to our website, peacefulempowermentworks.org. There's a donate button on the top of the screen and on the bottom, and your donation is tax deductible. But again, thank you for being here. And like I say, I do this little, like a kind of like a prayer thing before every show. And I hope that somebody gets something out of this that'll help their life be a bit better.
Love it. I love that. Now you need your applause, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Outstanding. Yeah, I think we're ready. We're ready to dive in. Janice, can you bring us in, please?
Absolutely.
I like everyone. Hold on, Janice. I would like everyone to notice, if you're watching, the range of motion in Janice's shoulder.
It improves every week. It really is.
Awesome. Okay. Take a deep breath in through your nose. We can tell you're healing by the intensity of the ring.
Yeah, doesn't it sound much better? The dog doesn't like the ring, so he kind of gets unsettled when I do it. Right, Bo?
He's like, I'll be back. Janice and I had to laugh in the pregame because we're matching again.
Totally not planned. And like one thing I told Judy, I said, green's not my color. I had the green the last time just because we went to a Celtics game, and I have this one. It's the only thing I have in this color. And she says,
and this is the only thing I have in this color.
What are the chances?
And I love it because Janice's says,
you better.
And mine says, I am.
I don't know. It's kind of, maybe we've been doing this a long time together, a lot longer than we realize, huh?
I think so. I'm believing that more and more.
Oh, gosh.
All right. So we're going to jump right into the topic for today. Hey, universe, what the F? And I loved this meme. And it's a meme of two, like, basically stick figures. And one is lessons from the universe, and the other one is me. And it shows the universe person smacking me across the face. And I was like, oh, that is so how it feels sometimes. So have you ever felt like you've been smacked in the face by life? Have challenges, unexpected turns, confusing circumstances left you scratching your head and screaming, seriously, universe? What the F?
Yeah.
How about you, Janice? Have you ever felt that way?
Oh my gosh. I tell you, it's interesting because, when I was thinking about this topic, the first thing came to mind is, the shoulder thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the same response to the shoulder thing as like I did. I don't know. Everything's 10 years ago now. I'm sure it wasn't 10 years ago. But whatever years ago it was, is I had a triad of things happen. We adopted my granddaughter, and I was raising a child with challenges, and it was hard. There's times it was hard, and at this particular time, it was in the hard space. Mm-hmm. Also, I got in a car accident, and I got a head injury, And I have not been the same since. I have not. And at the time, I was having a really difficult time. And I was everything from stuttering to just not focusing. And I couldn't have any external stimuli. It was pretty rough.
Wow.
And then I found out that I have this rare eye disease where, like, in 10 to 20 years after you're diagnosed, you go legally blind. Well, that was hard. But the thing is I became that. You know, I was like, oh, these three things, and look at it's life is hard, and I can't. What am I going to do? I can't function. I can't work. I can't. I really became those problems, and for years, it really weighed me down. It was just, it was a heavy weight, and interesting enough that I kind of like lost my job. Well, it changed my position, and it was because of that. Because I'm not as quick and focused as I used to be, and I can't, I probably can't see as well. Maybe it doesn't matter. I was that, and then it really took probably a few years before I was able to not identify myself just as that. And I know a coworker of mine. She gave me this little postcard at the time, and she was a psychiatrist, actually, so maybe that's why. But it's like, I wish I had it right here. I can't think of it. But it's like, accept yourself where you are and go from where you're at or something. It was just a little bit of the start of, you don't have to identify yourself as that, But it's taken a while, but I don't identify as that anymore. But it took a long time. But like this whole shoulder thing, it started with my right shoulder. I have a lot of pain. I've had it for years, probably 10 years. And I went to the doctor back when it first started, and she was like, well, you could have surgery or you could just, adapt. I was like, I'll adapt. And that's what I did. I ignored it and adapted for years. And now that I'm retired, I'm like, I'm tired of being in pain whenever I lift something. I don't know. Maybe I should not adapt. And I went to him, and he's like, well, the thing is it's really quite bad. You can't repair it. There's nothing there to repair. You'd have to get this total reverse replacement thing. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Well, but it's a new procedure. They don't know if it lasts more than 15 years. So you're young yet, and you still have a range of emotions. So maybe you should put it off. So I went back to ignoring it. But not, anytime I do groceries or try to lift something. And then this arm just like snapped, like it did. This one did 10 years ago. And it's like, oh no, well, maybe it can be repaired if I go now. And so I got the repair. And then, of course, I fell down and I smashed my arm up here. Okay, so that's 3 in a row. That seems to be my number. And but I think of it as, well, it's inevitable. I'm getting older now, and this one, I never looked at it. So of course it's time. It's going to happen. And this one, well, if I have this genetically happening thing where I don't have strong tissues or whatever it is, that's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not identifying there are days I do. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like I talked to my brother, my oldest brother. I had a bad day, and his wife is a nurse. So she says, oh, how you doing? And I was like, oh, my shoulder, blah, 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 blah. I never talked to that brother. He lives far away, and he's 13 years older than me. And that night, he's never called me from his cell phone. I don't know if he's ever called me. I got a call from him. He was so worried. Was, and yeah, are you going to Boston? You're going to drive to Boston? I just was like out of nowhere, because it didn't even get in my reality. Well, it did, obviously, the minute I wrote that text. It was in that, but I never I don't know. It was really, first of all, I was touched. I was touched that he reached out, but also it wasn't a big deal well, it is a big deal. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm this person. It's like, I can't wait till I heal. but I'm not like this person. So yeah, I had the WTF moments, and did it repeat? Just like the bad scenario. I didn't change my jobs. I kept in the same situation when maybe I should have taken it easy and heal myself, where I didn't. I went back to work too soon and all that stuff. And and then, the job ended, but I really needed to leave that job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I needed to, I still had Adriana to take care of. And, you know, that's can be a full-time job some days. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a very toxic environment when I left. And there were some issues and yeah, I needed to leave and I wouldn't have.
Right.
I wouldn't have left. I mean, I stayed, you know, longer than I probably should have, especially after the head injury, you know. So yeah, it's like keep hitting you on the head until you pay attention. You know, it's kind of like the part that I related to most of the story was just how that all happened. And I had to then not just be my job. I had to learn to not just be my job.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's all what had to happen. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I hate to sound, I'm not minimizing it. It was terrible, but you know, I had to go through that. Had to happen for me to quit my job, to leave my
Yes.
job.
And that's an awareness you didn't have back then. And that's,
Oh,
you know, when I met Janice, that had already unfolded. And, you know, none of us were in the best of places. That's why we were all in group together.
yeah.
And, you know, were you still identifying and I would say, you know, you were still very much, it sounds insane, but in your brain about your brain injury. And almost there was an element of embarrassment and shame attached to it. Like it was your fault.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And that is a big shift I've seen in you in the years that I have had the pleasure of knowing you and being a friend.
Yes.
So when this all happened with the shoulder, you know, the surgery we knew you were getting. But when the break happened, one of the first things you sent me was, I know the universe is trying to teach me something. I just don't know what it is. Which is very different than a response you would have had after your accident.
Yeah.
Those things unfolding. And that's huge. So you shifted from why is this happening to me to why is this happening for me? Where's the lesson?
That's true.
And that pretty much wraps up the whole point of this show. Because when we can take a different stance, and, you know, Janice, we enjoy laughter. We like to learn through laughter. And if we can go to that next slide, that's what this slide is all about. Because, you know, the universe is going to give you the exact same lesson in different versions over, and I say over and over and over again until you master it. This is one of the single most important universal laws you can learn about the nature of reality. And, you know, we have the choice, which I wasn't aware of. We have the choice to choose to learn our lessons with ease and grace or to learn them under fire. And when you're getting cracked on the head, you're choosing fire. I didn't know there was a choice. You know, we would have things happen and pile on, and we would be like, oh, it's just because you're a Forder. That's what happens to the Forders. And then when I realized I had a choice, like, no, I'm tired of burning my hand. I'm tired of getting my butt smacked. I'm ready to start paying attention. And that was the biggest thing for me, was I had to start paying attention, because the universe is always talking to us. The universe is always showing us a way. And one of the best visuals that was given to me was, your life is like a highway. And if we can listen to the guidance of our heart and trust our intuition, then we're going to be able to stay on that path. And there are times we are directed off of the path. We take an exit ramp. And sometimes that exit ramp leads us down really bumpy, curvy, crappy roads. Other times it's a nice little rest area.
Yeah.
You know, so being able to identify which one I stepped into gave me the power to choose to get back on the highway.
Yeah.
Or choose something else.
Yeah. The hardest thing is when you're in the middle of it is to realize it.
And that's another thing we said, because there's lessons in everything. And I am famous for having to move through the experience first and then be like, oh, that's what it was teaching me.
Well, even like the shoulders, one of my biggest things on the show, I used to say, and I felt very deeply ashamed of, was the fact that I sit on the couch and watch my trials and stuff And when I broke surgery and break my arm, I had to really sit, and I had to, keep still. So because it was painful, and my husband just stepped up to the plate, and he's done so much of the stuff around the house and the stuff that I feel like I should be doing. But it's like I wouldn't have said that's okay before. I would have said I'm less than. I'm no, but now I'm
be doing more. I should be doing this.
I would not be able to just sit here while he was doing the dishes, because I can't lift it up. I would not be able to. And I still feel baddish, but it's not the same. It's not the beating myself up so much about it.
Oh,
so that was huge for me. The whole time I've been in this show, I just hated myself for that. But it's interesting. Like last week or week before, I actually organized and cleaned up a few things that I could with one arm, one plus arm, where I would never have done that before, because I was so busy wanting to get more shut down because I was beating myself up because I thought I was so bad. You just get in that and you think you're terrible about it. And so therefore you don't get out of it.
Right.
So yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I'm hearing that you have learned through this journey with the shoulders is what you just said, allowing yourself to receive the help. And for people that are so used to doing people pleasers, we did because we wanted to be loved. We wanted to be liked. So if I'm not able to do that, is he going to hate me? Is he not going to like me? Is he not going to love me anymore? Yep. Because it was in my actions. That's the only reason they like me. It's the only reason they keep me around, because of what I can do for them. And for some people, Janice, that is true.
Yeah. Sadly.
So that was a huge lesson for us to learn when we stopped the people-pleasing patterns. People will fall away.
It is interesting because, like, I get that, but you don't even know I still was holding on to it, like with my husband. He grew up in a household where his mother did everything. Single mother, 4 kids. She took care of everything. Okay. Right. And he likes that. He likes to be taken care of. This is my perception, what has always been. He wanted a housewife, and I wasn't one. And I told him at the beginning, I'm never going to be one. It's 50-50, but I've held on to that, subconsciously that's what, if I wasn't working, I'd have to be like a housewife.
Gotcha.
And when, I couldn't, that I would do it, I'd resent it. Even making sure his supper was ready, that's really the main thing I did for him. But you kind of start resenting it.
Yep.
Because I don't like doing that. I don't like being a housewife, period. For whatever reason, I get my reasons, but I just don't. And I thought that I had to, or else I would disappoint him. I would let him down. Maybe he wouldn't love us as much. But see, you grow and you get healthier and stronger. But it's always so much more, because I didn't even know, I didn't realize that part would never got healed.
Yes. And now the difference is you have the tools. So you say there's always so much more. Yeah, there's always so much more to learn. But now you have the tools to move through it. So instead of picking up that whip and beating yourself, you have the tools to see that you have opened yourself up, you're willing to receive the help, and you express the gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things they want me to touch on that you said was the resentment. If we're not doing things for people from a place of love, resentment will build. Eventually it will come. So that's something for people to pay attention to.
Yeah.
If you find yourself on output all the time and you're feeling overwhelmed and resentful for all the things you're doing for everyone else, that's about you. That's not about everybody else. Mm-hmm. So the universe is going to continue bringing people into your life that expect from you. Yeah. They all show up with their hands out.
And what the wildest thing is, 2 things my husband's done is, one thing is he feels good that he's doing these things. Mm-hmm. He feels important. He feels like he's helping me, because, it's hard to, I find a lot of people, not just my husband, but hard to feel valuable. How am I valuable? Yeah, because I earn money, just the same things, I guess, if he earns the money, but not emotionally is that great a person for me for a lot of years, but he's grown so much. And like but now I'm letting him do it. And I'm seeing him feeling proud that he's doing something for me that means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he even says to me the other day, I know how you feel about the housekeeping, but I like a house clean. So I don't like to do it, but I do like a clean house. So you see the problem.
It's the conflict.
He says, why don't we try to get someone to come in and clean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I cannot be working full time and I can have someone come in just because I don't like to do it.
That was a lesson I learned too when Jen moved in here, because I'm the same way. I like a clean house, but I don't love cleaning. And she was like, well, we'll just pay somebody to do it. My mind was like, what? We can do that?
Yes. But, I would think that I was a total failure, because if I'm not working, I need to be a housewife. It's just funny how, but you have that still, you just held on to that.
Mm-hmm. And isn't it great that you can identify it now and be like, no, I don't believe that. That is not a belief I choose to have.
Yeah. Funny, I spent years trying to accept the fact. I mean, like my husband, it wasn't just like, we'll see, no. I was like, don't believe in that. I am not going to, I was just so standing high in my soapbox and my platform, how I shouldn't have to be a house.
Those beliefs were solid and it felt safe there.
Yeah, I had to be, but look, at the end of the day, at the end of the career, I guess, it's still hard. It's still hard to believe, but I think, I don't know if that's what I was supposed to get out of this shoulder thing, but that's what I have gotten out of it.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. This is a great place for us to take a quick commercial break. Oh, that's me.
Judy, we had Judy text us. I'm guessing it was probably from Jen. Getting someone to come in to clean was such a gift to myself, being Judy. I had just been waiting to get better at it, and then decided I just didn't want to. Oh, yeah, perfectly said. You go, Judy.
Thanks, Jen.
That was beautiful.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Be Here Now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. Today we are talking about, hey, universe, what the F? Janice was talking about the lessons she's learned throughout her shoulders experience and how she's realized she held on to a belief that if she wasn't working, she had to be the perfect housewife, and has learned that is not true. She is choosing to change that belief and that pattern, and thinking about hiring someone to clean her house for her.
Haven't done it yet, but
okay, it's on the table.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Yes. So we were talking about how all these experiences, the universe is going to continue to put experiences in front of you until you learn the lesson. And in my head, it's like, okay, the universe presents something. It's nice and peaceful. We didn't learn it. It comes back. And for me, I feel like each time it gets a little more aggressive, because it's going to do whatever it has to do. It will shake you up to wake you up. So this is where we like to present you with the possibility and the thought that you have the ability to choose whether you want to learn your lessons with ease and grace, or you want to choose to learn them under fire. And having that awareness allows you to take a step back when you start to feel overwhelmed by situations. Janice said she felt like hers came in waves of 3. It's funny, when you said that, I thought, okay, my grandfather passed away. 6 months later, my mother passed away. And then a week after my mother, my grandmother passed away. Yeah. So we were literally saying the same thing, like, hey, God, universe, what? Seriously? What the heck?
Yeah.
and it's this year is 30 years. 30 years? 30 years. And we're still like learning lessons from, because that was a whole part of our family gone. Poof, in 6 months. So yeah, those lessons are still unfolding. And there are beliefs in there that are still coming to light to be examined. And just ask the question, do I choose to hold on to this belief, or am I choosing to see what else is out there? And we've talked on the show a lot about being curious. So one of the best things you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed and like, okay, I don't get it. It's take that, why is this happening to me, and shift it to, why is this happening for me? Because there is always a lesson. Always, always, always. We've talked about these processes before in a lot of other shows. And, in order to be more empowered and take responsibility for how you show up in the world, when you're feeling out of alignment, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling frustrated, when you're feeling all of these lower vibrational emotions that we don't enjoy feeling, the best thing you can do is take a couple deep breaths. Take a couple deep breaths and pause, because that puts a little space between you and that emotion. And once you have that space there, then you can take the time to identify what it is you're feeling. What is this emotion I'm feeling? I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, you've named it. As soon as you name it, it takes some of the power out of it. Observe yourself feeling that emotion. I'm frustrated. Okay, what does frustrated, when I'm feeling frustrated, what does that look like? How does my body feel? What is my brain thinking? What are my actions with other people? When I'm frustrated, or when I get angry, with me, when I get scared, it shows itself in anger. Because, I grew up a tough girl, a badass. It's not, you don't show your fear. Anger would make people back up. So it gave me space. So what does that emotion, how does it show in you, and how does it touch other pieces of your life? If I'm angry, then I'm lashing out at people that I love. And then if we are able to observe that emotion, okay, that's interesting. Look at what I'm doing. I'm frustrated. So, my jaw is clenched. My fists are clenched. I'm taking short breaths. I'm not breathing deeply. I'm very rigid in my movements. My energy is saying, back the hell up. When we can start going through that checklist and seeing it, allows us to be that non-judgmental observer that Janice and I talk about a lot. And then it allows the emotion to flow through, because we're not grabbing hold of it. It's the perfect example. Janice used the perfect example of, the issue with her job and then the car accident. She grabbed hold of the identities of those things and she held on to them. And that's what she identified as for quite some time. And then when she was finally ready to let that go, she's Janice. And we've been blessed for you to come and share your journey with us and share the beautiful light of you with us, so we can witness the shift and the beautiful example of your two shoulders. Because if you've been watching the show, you have witnessed Janice's journey through all this. And yes, we've seen that it's been hard. And what's the best thing Janice keeps doing? She keeps showing up. She keeps showing up, and now she's asking, where's the lesson? And when we can identify, when we start asking and looking for the lesson, then we see the pattern. We'll see the old pattern. Janice had an old pattern of believing that if she wasn't working, she had to be a housewife. She didn't want to be a freaking housewife. So the universe was like, you don't want to be a housewife? Wham, wham. We're going to make sure you can't clean.
And have your husband take care of you.
Uh-huh. Which was maybe something he didn't realize he enjoyed so much.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and I tell you, facing, getting older together, that's always been a little scary thing. I don't think he's a caretaker. I don't think of him that way. And
But
now,
that's different.
now I do see him differently. That's for sure.
Exactly.
He even
Exactly.
insisted on driving me everywhere. Yes, it's hard to drive,
Uh-huh.
but the doctor didn't say I couldn't. But it was painful to do it, and I had a hard time like doing a few things. I would need help, but doesn't matter.
Mm.
Even yesterday, and I'm doing okay. Well,
Uh-huh.
not I drove to Boston, so I'm good enough to drive around here. I can't.
Right.
I'm like been using excuse. I'm liking my husband driving me around everywhere. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe that I would ever be okay with it because
Uh-huh.
I like to be in control. And B, that he would want to do it.
See?
Wild.
Yes. Beautiful revelations.
Yep.
Beautiful revelations. I love it. And another thing that, just like wham, wham, you don't want a house clean? Okay, boom, boom. We're going to take the capability away from you. When we come here with lessons to learn, if we come here to learn self-love, we're not going to be put in a situation where everyone around us encourages us to love ourselves. If we are here to learn setting healthy boundaries, we're going to be put with people that test any boundary we try to set. So if we're put here to trust our intuition, we're going to be surrounded, which society has surrounded us with, experts, people that know us better than us. And this is, something a message that we share all the time. You are the boss of you. You are the master of you. No one knows you and what you need better than you. Is there a place for you to consult people? Absolutely. But the bottom line is, how does it feel to you? Does it feel true to you? Does it feel good to you? Is this going to work for you? Only you know that. So, we have all been involved in learning that process, learning to trust your intuition. When you've been born into a world that tells you don't know, it takes a lot to shift that pattern. When I became a mother at 35. So my friends had all had kids already. My sister had kids. My mom wasn't around. So I didn't have her as a resource, but at second anything happened, I was reaching out to the moms I already know. Don't trust what you got going on in here, because they're going to know better.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think the best moment I had in parenting was when I realized you don't have to go by the books. You have to go by what you think and feel is the best.
Yes.
No, it was so freeing. I remember that moment where I was like, oh, my instincts are right on probably for my situation, for me.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, very freeing.
We had, the whole kid sleeping in a crib thing. And Maddie was not a crib sleeper. We tried and we tried. And, at the time, Tammy was someone who was working long hours and making long drives and all this kind of stuff. So it was important for her to get sleep. And Tammy would say, I just need to get sleep. So we'd have Maddie in bed with us. And that co-sleeping thing was like, no, you don't do that. You're going to ruin the kid. Let them cry themselves to sleep. And look, push come to shove. Finally, I was like, no, obviously this is not good for her. So it was something that I felt very shameful about for a long time. And I mean, Maddie was damn near our height and still sleeping in bed with us.
I bet you there's a lot of us who have the same story.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about it much because there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of shame. All the books,
true.
all the specialists out there. Now the big thing is co-sleeping.
Yeah. Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yeah, the big
I
thing.
say do what you need to do. Meet your child's needs and your needs to the best of your ability.
Exactly. Absolutely. So yeah, that was something that was so funny, because I can remember me like, oh no, we have to push. We have to push. We have to push. And then finally just being like, we everybody's got to sleep.
Yeah. Same thing. Same thing happened with me.
Yeah.
She slept with us, and then when I couldn't sleep well because she was sleeping with us, we tried then putting a bed on the floor, a mattress or something, so she'd sleep with us that way. And then she eventually just wanted her own bedroom, so
Yeah.
it worked out fine. But same thing.
Yeah, we got to the point where we finally got her in her bed during the week, and then on the weekends we would let her sleep with us. And then at some point in the middle of the night, Tammy would end up getting up and going to Maddie's bed. But yes, it's so funny. But
True.
so yeah, back to feeling the overwhelm of the universe and the external influences. You know, when you can slow yourself down and take that breath and pause and do all the things that we just talked about, and really look for the lesson, look for the pattern, because life runs in rhythms and patterns. Our belief systems show themselves through patterns. And when you can identify it, then you can decide. You have a choice. Are you going to continue with this belief pattern, or do you want to tweak it and try something different?
Mm.
And, you know, it sounds real easy to say, you know, tweak it and try something different. We also need to remember that our nervous system is geared toward the belief that we're holding, and we have been holding our entire lives. So when we tweak and make that change, it's not going to be easy, because that belief pattern is something that's in our subconscious. It's in our autopilot. Awareness is the first step. Awareness without judgment. That's why we talk a lot about the observation deck, the non-judgmental observation deck. Okay, I've identified the pattern. I would like to shift that belief. And then you go, and 3 hours later, you find yourself doing the same thing. Instead of beating yourself up, like, oh, I said I wanted to switch that. What's wrong with me? I'm such an idiot, which was me.
Yeah.
You instead say, oh, I see, you know, like being the observer, I see that I've fallen into that pattern again, but we're choosing to do it this way now. So it's not ridiculing the pattern or the person that you were. It's embracing the fact that you're willing to change and try something different.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
You know, you just made me think that I know, like, one of the things that I still beat myself up about is, oh, I wish I was more spiritual. I should be more. I have all these what I should be or wish I was, and I think that I'm not. So I hang on to it, and I still like beat myself up for it. But I think the thing is just accepting who you are. You know,
Yep.
instead of like, it's not black and white. I love to say, because that's how I like things. But you know, it's someplace in between, and that's probably who I am, and I guess that's okay. you know,
It's okay.
you know, because all the things that keep coming up of, oh, if I was only this, more of this, or if I wish I walked more, and I wish I did this more, and I wish I did church more, and I wish I did this more. You know, it's like that is one of my patterns. So that I see, I see that. So I'm observing it.
Yep.
Then I
Like,
can think about it and
pattern again. Let's put the whip down. We're not beating ourselves anymore.
instead of just keep thinking what I'm not or what I wish I was,
Uh-huh.
you can start to drop that and just try to be okay with where you are.
Yes. And don't should yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the first things that I was told. Stop shoulding yourself. I didn't realize how much I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I should. If you should be doing it, you'd be doing it. You know? And that's a big concept in a world that is always telling you, do. You're not enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. Do more. Be more.
Yeah.
For you to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am absolutely perfect where I am today.
You're absolutely you the way you are today. You know, you're perfectly you. That is the only thing that's perfect is you're perfectly you, I guess. Right.
And there is no other, you know, Judith Ann Forder on this planet that is built like me. That is me. My job is to master me and to be the best me I can possibly be. And if that's my desire and that's what I want to do, nobody else out there knows better than I do. They may have some tools that I could use to get to that place. They may have some experiences that they can share that I can relate with. But the bottom line is it's me. I have to do what feels right and best for me.
It's so hard when you have a lifetime or subconscious beliefs about what the best part, your best self should be. And you're not even realizing it as time goes on. You're starting to realize, oh, I guess I've always thought I should be better at that. Yeah, absolutely. I do. And what do? I don't do anything about it. So then you can beat yourself up some more, But ding.
Yeah. If it's important enough for you to do, the universe is going to continue coming back, putting you in experiences for you to learn the lesson. So when you can look at life as every experience is a lesson to learn, and understand that you can choose to learn that lesson through ease and grace, or you can choose to use it by, fire, learn it by fire, shoulder surgery and a broken arm.
And another one to come.
Then it is very empowering. You're not at the whim of the universe. You're here to learn. You're the greatest student there is.
And one of the things that side effect, or maybe not, but is I feel less a victim. A lot of times I feel like, look, it's because of this, I'm this way, that part can let go too, is I'm not a victim of what happens around me. So it's nice. That's very freeing.
Yeah, I love that point. When we could it's very interesting working with people where they'll look back on who they were, and we talk about the shame and the guilt and the disdain. I had a mentor look at me and say, do you realize you loathe yourself? And I was like, whoa, that's heavy. I know there are things about me I do not like. Loathe was not a word I would use, but she was absolutely right. So to look back on the person that I was and feel anything but gratitude and love doesn't make sense to me anymore. Yeah. Whereas before, that's all I would feel. Like, how could I have been so stupid? How could I have been so naive? How could I have been so, that Judy was doing whatever Judy had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And she got me to here. So all I have is love, gratitude, all the props and high fives in the world for her now. Because it wasn't easy. And anybody who's waking up to this, whatever it took for you to get to where you are, please give yourself grace, give yourself love, give yourself gratitude.
Celebrate.
Here.
Celebrate.
So we challenge you to go out into the world and ask, what am I to learn today? What am I? And those people that are out there willing to journal and like to journal, ask the question, what am I supposed to learn today? And see what comes through. That helps strengthen that connection to your intuition.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Look for the lessons. Why is this happening for me? What is this trying to teach me? I love the fact, take yourself out of victim mode. Why is this happening to me? You are submerged in the victim.
Yeah.
Why is this happening for me? Puts you in the place of the student. The empowered observer.
Yeah.
I love it. Very well done, Janice. Very well done.
Yes. Always great being here for this time. I tell you, I can't believe how fast it goes by, and the things I can still. We've been doing this now over maybe almost 3 years, getting towards 3 years, and it's still learning things. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I feel like, they say healing is the onion and the spiral. There are certain things that come back, and it's like, didn't I learn that lesson? And then when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, I have a deeper understanding.
Yep.
So I can approach it differently.
Yep.
And once you've learned the lesson, then you start to have different experiences to learn different lessons.
Right. Right. True.
All right. I believe we are complete for today.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you, everybody, so much for sharing with us. Hopefully, writing comments or listening and appreciating and understanding. And relating, and thank you. We appreciate you.
We absolutely do. Thank you so much for choosing to be here now with us. Please always remember,
You are not alone.
and don't ever forget, you are awesome. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week.